Why do you feel like you're doing everything right, but something still feels off with her? She says she's over him. She acts like she's moved on, but late at night, in the quiet moments, her energy slips, her eyes glaze, her words go hollow, and suddenly, you're not kissing her, you're kissing the memory of someone else. Let me tell you something that most men never figure out in time. You're not her future, you're her recovery, and that role, it's silent, it's painful, it destroys you slowly. In this video, I'm going to break down the 6 hidden signs that the woman you're investing in isn't actually investing in you. She's haunted, and worse, she's making you the emotional host for her old pain. But if you spot the signs early, you can stop the cycle. And when you do, you don't just walk away. You walk out a man she'll never forget. 1. Her eyes light up about her past. You think it's harmless. She brings him up casually. Yeah, we used to come here all the time. And suddenly her eyes shift. Not sad, not angry. That flicker in her smile, that pause before she sips her drink. That's not closure. That's emotional residue. And here's the worst part. You probably lean in. You want to understand. You think being the better guy means being the patient listener. But the truth? Every time she says his name without bitterness, you're watching her relive the version of herself she hasn't let go of. She's not sharing to process. She's sharing because it still breathes inside her. You thought you were building something new, but she's still living in an old story. And you just became a side character. 2. She frames her ex as toxic, but never shuts up about him. He was manipulative. He played mind games. He made me question my worth. She calls him toxic, broken, even cruel, and yet his name keeps slipping out like a ritual. You tell yourself it's trauma. You think maybe she's healing, but deep down, it doesn't sit right, because the more she talks about him, the more you realize she's not over it. She's addicted to the chaos. Why? Because toxic doesn't mean forgettable. It means unforgettable. In all the worst ways. The late-night fights, the jealousy, the cold shoulder. They carved emotional grooves so deep, she still runs her fingers across them in the dark. And here you are, kind, stable, patient, trying to prove that good love still exists. But she's not wired for it. Not yet. She doesn't need you. She needs a mirror to feel like she's growing. And you're the mirror she keeps talking into, hoping the echo sounds like closure. But it doesn't. It just sounds like she still wants something from a man she swears she's done with. And that's not healing. That's obsession disguised as honesty. 3. You're being compared, and you're losing. You thought you were starting fresh, a clean slate, no baggage, just her and you. But somewhere between her compliments and coldness, you start to feel it, the invisible contest. She says, "You're not like my ex." You actually listen. You're so calm. It's refreshing. And yet, why does it feel like you're being graded? Because you are. Not consciously, but emotionally. She's not loving you. She's measuring you against a man who already left the room. You're not her partner. You're her emotional rehab. And the worst part, no matter how well you treat her, how gentle your tone is, how honest you are, you're still not him. You're not the villain in her story. And that means you'll never be the obsession either, because what scars her shapes her, and what shapes her still owns a piece of her. You're loving a woman who's still mid-comparison. She's not choosing you, she's choosing not him. That's not love, that's replacement. And eventually, you'll feel it in her eyes, that you were only ever the audition, not the lead role. Oh, wait. Quick question before we keep going. What's the most confusing thing a woman ever did after a breakup? Was it mixed signals, calling you best friend, sleeping with someone else and texting you the next day? Drop the wildest one in the comments. Let's compare stories. 4. Her attachment is erratic, not romantic. Some nights she clings to you like your oxygen. Her voice is soft, her laugh is warm, her body doesn't leave yours. You think, maybe this is what love looks like. But then the switch flips. She pulls away. Cold texts, no eye contact. She's in her head again, and you're out of the picture. You assume you did something wrong, so you chase, reassure, explain. But here's the brutal truth. Her attachment isn't about you. It's about the ghost you don't see. She's using your presence to smother her past, to bandage memories that still bleed. You're not her partner. You're her distraction. The kisses feel urgent, not because they're passionate, but because they're trying to silence a name that still echoes when she's alone. And the reason her warmth feels inconsistent? Because it's not based on who you are. It's based on how much she needs to forget. In that moment, you thought you were building something real, but you were just holding space. Space she filled with feelings that didn't start with you and probably won't end with you either. That's not romance. That's emotional residue. And unless you see it for what it is, you'll keep mistaking her confusion for chemistry. 5. She doesn't respect you when you're kind. You're doing everything right. You show up. You care. You treat her better than any man in her past. And yet, she pulls away. Her texts slow down. Her energy shifts like you're suddenly invisible. Here's the brutal truth most men never want to admit. She doesn't respect your kindness because you gave it without standards. She didn't earn it. She didn't prove herself first. And in her mind, if it was that easy to get, it must not be worth much. The very thing you thought would win her over, your softness, your support, your unconditional praise, it made her feel like she didn't have to try. And if she doesn't have to try, she'll never feel tension. And without tension, there's no desire. Worse, she compares you to the guy who hurt her, and she misses him, because at least with him, she had to fight for affection. That's the paradox. The more kindness you give without self-respect, the faster she loses interest. Not because she's evil, but because emotional challenge is part of how women feel attraction. This doesn't mean be cruel. It means protect your warmth. Make her earn your softness, so when she finally gets it, she knows it's real. 6. The moment you detach, she performs. She didn't notice when you texted first. She didn't flinch when you stayed up late listening to her drama. She didn't appreciate your patience. She expected it. But now, you've gone quiet. You're not cold, just unavailable. And suddenly everything changes. She starts watching your stories. She comments more. She sends hey texts at midnight, like she forgot how distant she was the whole time. Why? Because women feel the absence of attention louder than the presence of affection. And when you detach, not to play games, but because you're finally choosing you, it flips the entire power dynamic. She begins performing, looking better, acting sweeter, pretending the vibe never shifted. But you know it did. And now she's chasing the validation she used to ignore. Here's the twist that wakes most men up. You never had to do more to win her. You just had to stop overgiving. Because the moment you reclaim your energy, she realizes what she lost. And you realize you never needed her in the first place. So if you're still asking yourself, is she over her ex? You already know the answer. She might be laughing with you, sleeping next to you, smiling in your photos. But if her past still controls her peace, you'll never be her future. And that's the part most men ignore. You're not competing with him. You're competing with the version of her that still belongs to him. And the longer you try to fix what you didn't break, the more you forget your own value. But here's the truth. You don't win by proving you're better than her ex. You win by refusing to be a rebound for a woman who hasn't healed. Let her chase ghosts. You've got a real life to build. And if this hit you in the gut, drop a comment below with, "No more fixing broken glass." Let's see how many real men are done bleeding for women who romanticize their pain. Like this video if it woke something up. Subscribe, not for me, but for the future you who refuses to settle. We've got more truth coming, and it only gets louder from here.